So I want to go get my library card renewed because unfortunately it expired, which I'm like, library cards still do that. I've only had this one for like a couple of years. I thought it'd be fun to kind of do a different type of vlog. Everyone seemed to really enjoy my Comic-Con vlog, so I'm like, maybe I'll do more vlogs. The Comic-Con vlog was actually a lot of fun to make too, so here I am. I'm gonna maybe try different vlog styles every once in a while, thinking about combining what I want to like move into more, just like artsy, creative, cozy vibes. That's what I'm going for. So I wasn't expecting to vlog today, honestly, which is why I look like this in like my trashy Disney sweatshirt, but here we are, you know, cozy, artsy. Okay, I'm gonna drive to the library now and see if I can update my card. To renew my library card, which was nice because I didn't have anything, and the lady did it anyway because she's like, well, it says we've seen your lease before, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm like, cool, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna do a little book haul. I restricted myself to 3. That's a lot. I read like 10 in a year. And last year I had a really big reading slump. I think one of them I can definitely just like skim. But anyway, without further ado, so the first one I got was Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I read most of The House by the Cerulean Sea, and while it wasn't like enthralling to me, I do want to go back and finish it one day. I was reading it on Libby. I read 99% of my things on Libby and through audiobooks, which is why I need to renew my card, but they make you do it in person. So that's why I'm here. And I was like, you know what? I love a physical book too, though. This is how I started out getting into reading, I was all about a physical book. And I've actually really been struggling with getting into audiobooks lately. So I really need to get in the habit of just reading before bed every night. That's how I used to do all my reading, was I read every night before bed. Sorry, there's probably so much background noise because I'm moving the books on my lap and they're all plastic wrapped. Okay, so this is the one that I might be able to skim a little bit. It's nonfiction. It's called Gender Magic by Ray McDaniel. Live shamelessly, reclaim your joy, and step into your most authentic self. So I read Gender Magic and I was like, what's that about? And literally just flipped through the pages, and one of the first things was like, finding an authentic gender expression that works for you. And I was like, that's cool. For those who don't know, I identify as a gender non-binary, for if you don't understand what that means. And I have a hard time sometimes, like, grappling with that in terms of, like, what I look like, what other people perceive me as, things like that. So then another one was just a random take off the shelf. I thought I was going to get that Fake It As You Bake It book or whatever. But I was like, 4 books is way too many. And this one, sometimes I really struggle to just get into, like, generic romance books, even though that one seemed really cute because it's baking themed and I love baking. But this one, I read the description and I was like, immediately like, I feel like I didn't have to try. I just whipped through the description and I like didn't even realize I had read it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to like force yourself to read the whole description. You're like, okay. I want to continue exploring and reading other people's experiences outside of my own. So this is not only, I think, about a Black woman, but from the 1960s during segregation. So, but there's like a romance plot, so that sounds nice. And it just sounds like it could be really interesting but also educational. And for the fact that Black History Month, cool, we love it. So yes, these were the 3 books that I just got from the library. We'll see how I do. Again, maybe if I force myself to read before bed every night for the next few weeks, because these are doing like less than a month. and we'll see. All right, that's my haul, and maybe I will do some cozy reading later that you'll see. Completely infuriating work meeting. I'm work from home today, so I was like, I need to go for a walk and blow off a little steam. Also, my back is really sore for some reason. I think I might have slept on it weird. I don't know why. I can't like move. The mobility's not great, so I try to usually work out on my work from home days because I have the extra time. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be doing like a real workout today, so I thought going for a walk would be a good leisurely way to move a little bit. And I'd like to do some artwork. So after my walk, hopefully feeling a little less frustrated. I already feel better, honestly, just walking for the few minutes down my road. And it's a nice day where I'm at. And by nice, I mean it is 40 degrees out. But hey, I love the season, so I'm actually not complaining. Yeah, so hopefully after my walk, I'll be feeling a little better and a little inspired, and we can do some artwork. I'm so happy because I was feeling a little under the weather. Like I was feeling like I was getting a cold, and I just took like a power nap because I'm going to the Stardew Valley concert tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I power napped. I took some Dayquil. I feel so much better. It's crazy how a power nap, you can just like brings you back to life. I still feel like you can kind of see it here. I'm like very warm, a little pink. I'm gonna wear a mask just in case I am sick and contagious for realsies. Want to be responsible like that, but I'm glad I'm at least feeling well enough to go. But yeah, part of it is like I want to get braver about doing things by myself, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of include these little dates with myself, some artistic dates with myself, kind of like inspired by The Artist's Way. If you've been watching people do that experience, I feel like that's very trendy lately. I've seen some people blogging about doing The Artist's Way, and part of that is like art dates. So this is my Artist's Way arts dates without me actually doing The Artist's Way. Part of the reason I'm sick is because I was irresponsible and I stayed up really late last night watching the new live action Avatar with one of my best friends, and it was very fun because we had some great laughs. Dude, yeah, it's bad. But dude, we had so many good laughs about it. It's so bad though. It's so bad. Like, poor Mike and Brian. I am a diehard Avatar fan, so I was very disappointed, but I have a good sense of humor about these things. I just feel bad for Mike and Brian. They got done dirty a second time now. I got some gluten-free Girl Scout cookies. Those who don't know, I am like almost 2 months into my gluten-free life. Funny enough, I kind of wish these were crunchy. They're like soft, which I wasn't expecting, and I think they almost would have been better if they were crunchy, which is, I never want a crunchy cookie. I usually want soft cookie. But just something about like a mass-produced soft cookie, it has to be done really well if you're mass-producing like a soft cookie. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm going by myself. I've never been to a concert by myself, so I'm trying to be brave. I really wanted to go and see this, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I've always wanted to be brave and go to a concert by myself, because why not?
This thing is taking a second.
Even though it's freezing out, I was like, I want ice cream, so I got ice cream. Oh my goodness, everyone. That concert was so good. I'm so happy I went. I knew I would be. I was like, if I just do this by myself, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I had a great time. Like, literally, it's a concert. You don't need to, like, talk to anyone. And then what ended up happening, because I was by myself, is that I met some very lovely people who sat behind me, and we would chat before the show started and during intermission, and they were lovely. I was brave. I talked to people. We talked about Stardew Valley, of course. It was great. I love the way they structured it. I had a feeling they were going to do this, which was, it was kind of like split into quarters, and each one was a season, and then the season kind of had something additional playing with it. Like, summer had the mine music, fall had the saloon, Stardrop Saloon music, and then, of course, they did like an encore, which was great. Like, they literally came back and after winter and played like 3 extra songs, so that was awesome. ConcernedApe and Soho Music or something it's called, they're the ones that partnered on this. Ending on the community center song, chef's kiss, like literally made me cry. I cried in the beginning too, because it was just like so cool, and just like live music is amazing. I don't know, I'm just very like happy right now. I don't know if it's like corny. There's just something so wholesome about everyone going to see live music and enjoying it, and especially for something like a silly little video game. It was really fun to hear what songs people would get excited for. Like, it was very funny. Everyone, like, certain songs, people would like, we'd all laugh, which is such an interesting reaction to have when like a song starts playing. But like the Stardrop Saloon music started playing and we all just like laughed. They were just so talented. It's crazy. Like, there's no lyrics. We're just simply watching people be experts at their instruments, and it's just like, I used to be a musician. I played guitar and ukulele for a very long time, and I sadly haven't played in probably like 3 or 4 years. It's something I would love to do again. So things like this just reignite those feelings of like what you've maybe lost, especially if you're an old musician. It just feels different, you know? I was very happy I got to record some of the music, because I hope it's on like Spotify or something in this orchestral, like, what's the word? Like this orchestral organization. I can't think of the right word. It'd be really cool if it's on Spotify, because it's beautiful. Or if it's not, they need to like record this as an album and put it on Spotify, because it hits different. The orchestra conductor was like the host, so he would kind of MC and like introduce the next section, which like added good flow to the whole thing. And he made a joke about Pierre, and like everyone cheered, like how we all hate Pierre. It was so funny. I cracked up. I was like, that's just what other environment are you in where like we all get it? Like we know that the fandom hates Pierre for whatever reason. It's so funny. Anyway, my heart is very full. I'm feeling also like, not to make it about like art, because not everything has to be about art. Sometimes it's just the experience, but feeling very inspired. I might try to do some like Stardew Valley artwork now after this. I've been wanting to kind of do Stardew Valley fan art for a while. Anyway, if you are debating on doing something and you've felt scared to do it by yourself, this is your sign to do it. Especially, you know, obviously I understand if you don't have the funds or the money to buy a concert ticket or something like that. Totally different. But even if it's just like something silly, like going to the movies by yourself, I used to be scared to do that too. And then I lived on my own in a big city. I used to live in LA, and I got good at going to the movies by myself. The next thing I want to tackle, going by myself, is eating in a restaurant. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always admired when people do it, when I see people do it. So that is on my bucket list. Maybe for 2024. Let's why not, right? 2024, we're gonna go eat in a restaurant by ourselves, okay? All right, that is all for now. I'm gonna finish my ice cream and get out of here because I already paid for the parking ticket, so hopefully it doesn't time out. So I'm an idiot and I was using my Tombow Funosuke pen, which I totally forgot is water-based, and I wanted to use my watercolor pencils to color these in because if you saw my travel journal video, I used my watercolor pencils there, and it's the first time I'd done it in a long time and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to do it again for this page. And totally forgot that the Tombow Funosuke is water-based, so alright, just erased my sketches. So now I'm debating on using alcohol markers for some of them, even though I really wasn't in the mood to do that today, and then do watercolor pencil for the other ones that I did use, my Bigma Microns. And then, but I'm debating, is that gonna look silly having a mix of watercolor and alcohol marker colored in drawings? I really don't know. I might have to think about it a little bit more. I am very happy with how this turned out. I think it's really cute. Okay, so I have officially watercolor painted everything that didn't have the Tombow. I was hoping by skipping ahead kind of and go ahead and painting everything that I would know after doing all that how I want to approach these other drawings. I still have no idea. I wish I wasn't being so indecisive, but I'm truly trying to be careful because I don't want to ruin this page. I did just have the idea to test it. I could scribble something and then see if it would smear, but I'm gonna have to like leave it for a few minutes. Okay, we're back and I am gonna try painting this with the Tombow. Watch it be fine, and I'm just like freaking out over nothing. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be fine. I was just being paranoid. I mean, obviously, like, now I'm working it a lot. I think it's coming undone a little bit there, you can see. Well, that's happy news. Now I have to go back to coloring. Because I haven't colored these yet. All right, I have finished the Stardew Valley page finally. I colored in the slime eyes, and I think that was definitely the finishing touch that they needed. I'm not totally happy with this brown slime. I wish I had done just a lighter brown to like kind of go with the duck and the strange bun, but that's okay. Not everything is going to be a winner or a 10 out of 10, but overall I think it turned out really cute. I'm really happy with it. And am I a little embarrassed that I was freaking out so much about the Tombow? Maybe, yes. I guess I was like forgetting that Tombow is still pretty good quality and it is ink after all. So even if it is water-based, like it's fine. You know, it wasn't going to smudge unless you really use a ton of water. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry for freaking out about that. It was fine. It was all good. But yeah, here's one last look at it. I wish I knew how to like make sticker sheets. I feel like this would be a really cute sticker sheet. But maybe I'll make it into a print or something too. It can make a cute print. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching me draw and paint this. It was really fun, especially I would think a lot about the concert as I was painting it. I listened to some Stardew Valley music as I was doing it as well, and it just made me reminisce on how great the concert was, and it just made me happy reliving all those memories. I even was watching Cozy K's most recent vlog, and they went to it, and Liz the Lass also uploaded a video where she talked about going to it, and I'm just like, it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, watching those videos also let me kind of relive those memories of going to it. It was seriously it was such a good experience. I'm so glad I did it. And I'm so glad I got to draw this.
Thank you. Oh, it's very nice.
To wrap up this vlog, I'm going to do a quick reading wrap up. So you might remember that I got these 3 books from the library. I'll go through them one by one and kind of talk about if I read them, what I thought, that kind of thing. Did not get a chance to read Under the Whispering Door. Honestly, I just wasn't motivated to read this because while I somewhat enjoyed The House by the Cerulean Sea, it wasn't like my favorite, and that's why I didn't finish it. It had lulls and it was kind of boring. I really wanted to like TJ Klune as an author because he is a queer author and writes a lot of queer stories, but I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me, I guess, and because of that, just never picked this up. It is what it is, you know? Next one I got was Gender Magic by Ray McDaniel. This one I was hoping to read more on my lunch breaks at work because I thought that'd be a good time to get some reading done, where this is probably something I don't need to completely focus on. I can kind of just skim it and get the gist. But I don't always take lunch breaks. My job gets pretty busy, and sometimes when I did take a lunch break, I was not in the mood to read during it because of how high stress my job is and how much focus it asks for. By the time lunch came, I was like, I need to decompress and turn off my brain and really watch like a YouTube video while I ate my lunch. That's mainly what I do. So the pages I read, I read 23 pages. It seemed like it was a lot more focused on people who plan on having gender affirmation surgery, which I do not. So yeah, I don't know if this would have been the right book for me anyway, but totally fine. The last book I got from the library was The Two Lives of Sarah by Catherine Adel West. I got about a quarter of the way through this book. I also started reading the audiobook because I was really struggling to get myself to just read in general. So I was like, if I start listening to the audiobook on my car rides to work, that'll help me. So this woman works in like a boarding house, and being a quarter of the way through the book, we have only left the boarding house once. So because I was listening to the audiobook, I don't know how many pages that is, but it's like a 12-hour audiobook. It's like a 300-page book. And the fact that I was a quarter of the way through and we only left this boarding house once, it spent a lot of time introducing us to everyone who was staying at the boarding house. It was very slow for me. There was 2 moments where I was like, ooh, it's getting interesting, but then it would just burn back down to like, no offense, the mundane boringness of the boarding house that she was staying in. Like there was this one part, spoiler alert, it literally happens within the first quarter of the book. So honestly, it's probably in the description. Where someone gets hurt and comes back to the boarding house like covered in blood, and I was like, all right, here we go, we're picking up, we're going places. And then everyone was like kind of freaking out, and they're like, oh my god, his bones are broken, da, 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 da. But then right after that, it just kind of went down to like what it was doing before. There wasn't immediate action of like, why did this happen, when did this happen, like how do we address it. It felt like something that was like going to connect to a future thing in the book, but then I truly just didn't have the patience at that point. Like, I don't know. What do you all think? I think I put this in an Instagram story on my Instagram account recently of like, how long do you all give a book a try before DNFing it, do not finishing it? I haven't looked at the results yet, so I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks. But you can also let me know in the comments below. How long do you give a book before you say, this ain't for me? I feel like a quarter of the way through is actually pretty respectable. If it's an audiobook, honestly, sometimes I've like DNF'd audiobooks after like 30 minutes, So it's a little different with that. But when I'm reading the physical book, I give it a little more of a chance because I'm like, okay, usually if I've spent money on it or whatever it may be, I'm like, I gotta actually try. My audiobooks I just get through Libby, so they're all free. So that is The Two Lives of Sarah. I think I'm gonna be DNFing it. I'm so sorry. I wish it's too slow paced for me. And then you might have seen the other thing I read was I was reading the first volume of Dead Endia. And so I actually watched the Netflix series of this show first. It was a comic first and then got made into a Netflix series, but I watched the Netflix series first and then got the comics because sadly, Netflix canceled the show after 2 seasons. So we didn't get a proper ending. So I was like, I need to go back and read the comics. I also love reading comics if I've already seen a TV show of like what it's based off of. For example, like I watched Heartstopper, but then I went back and read the comics. I had already loved Alice Oseman. I like seeing how they went from comic to TV show a lot. Anyway, so I have the second one of Dead Endia. I haven't finished this yet. I'm a little over halfway. I definitely will be finishing it. It's an easy read, and I already like the characters because of the TV show. I already know the story pretty well. And I have the second volume of this already. The third one is coming out this spring, so we're actually going to be able to find out what happens in the end, unlike the Netflix show. So I'm definitely going to be finishing it because I need to know how this series ends. And it'll be nice too because it'll hopefully be more authentic to the author's vision. Although I will say, this is a rare case where I think the show is better than the comics. I hate to say it. The comic is not bad by any means. It's like the artwork is really cute. The color palette is really great. And you can see the germ or the egg of what was these ideas that made it into a full-length episode for the TV show. So really the only reason that the TV show is better is because it's able to take some of these shorter stories and turn it into a 30-minute episode for TV. So we just get more detail, we get more time with the characters, we get more time in the story. So that's truly, I think, the only reason it's better. The comic is still very enjoyable. Last one, I don't have a book to show is because I was reading it on Libby as a digital copy, is Kiss Her Once for Me. I'm blanking on the author's name, but this was a book I heard about from my friend Kat and Mac. If you are familiar with her, shout out. She talked about this book in one of her reading wrap-ups, and it sounded like something that I'd be into. The character who is the narrator, because it's in first person, has such a distinct voice. I immediately related to this character. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is literally like my life story a couple years ago. Even now a little bit. So I really liked that. It's funny. I'm only a quarter of the way through that one as well, but I already know I'm gonna finish it. I think what I've learned from, the past few months, January, February, of trying to read these books from the library is that I'm very much a mood reader, which I know a lot of people are. I genuinely just have to like pick something up because I'm in the mood to read it. So like, for example, I was watching the Percy Jackson live action on Disney. I've only read the first Percy Jackson book, but watching the TV show, I was like, oh man, I need to go back to Percy Jackson and finish that series. And so low-key in the back of my brain, I was just thinking about how I wanted to read Percy Jackson, but I was trying to force myself to read these other books so that I could like at least have something for the vlog. So that's another thing, is I'm trying to be okay with the fact that I did not finish any of these books, even if it was for the vlog. So I apologize if you were looking for me to finish these books and have a real solid opinion. But I think this is just realistic. This is just life, right? Like, we don't always finish everything we start out to. I DNF a lot of books, guys. That's my second point, is I have learned I'm a picky reader. And I think that's also okay. I don't read a lot. So I think I've mentioned this before. I only read like 10 to 15, maybe max 20 books a year. As I mentioned last year, I had a really big reading slump. I think I only finished like 2 to 3 books or something like that. It's one of the worst years I've had in a while, but also my mental health was probably one of the worst years I've had in a while. So coming back from that and just trying to read what I want to read. Again, I apologize that I can't say I've finished anything by the end of this. But if you have read any of these books, let me know what you think. And truly, I think just the lesson is here that I shouldn't feel pressured to finish something just because I'm like vlogging about it or I'm making content about it. Like, at the end of the day, it's our lives and it's what we're reading. And if we're not enjoying it, why force something? Because I'm going to enjoy it even less if I'm forcing it upon myself. So I think maybe that contributed to it, like subconsciously, is that maybe I wasn't very happy or motivated to read these books because I did feel kind of forced because I started the vlog by getting them from the library. I was hoping by the due date, and I did get an extension on the due date, that I would have at least finished one or two to have more thoughts, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I hope you liked this vlog. It's the first time I've done something kind of like this. I put a lot of effort into filming it and editing it. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you could please give it a thumbs up, if you could please leave a comment, it would mean the world to me, truly. This is probably one of the longest I've spent on a video. So those extra things will help push it and just make the algorithm like me a little bit more. Not that it's all about that, but I also just would genuinely love to hear from you guys and what you thought about it. If you did like it, if you like this format, I'm not going to be doing this all the time. It is a lot of work, I won't lie, but maybe every few months or so I'll post a new vlog. If you liked my vibe, if you liked hanging out with me, if you like art stuff, if you like other creative stuff, please consider subscribing. I do mostly bullet journaling content. I do some art content. I do some vlog content, as you can see, and I would love to have you. So thank you so much for watching and take care until next time. Bye.